Pokemon. Ready, set, go! Machida, Tokyo, 1981. Japanese gamer Satoshi Tajiri begins writing, editing, and selling his own series of arcade gaming magazines known as Game Freak. Over the course of the magazine's run, several fellow gamers joined up with Tajiri to contribute to Game Freak. Chief among them was artist Ken Sugimori, who became the magazine's illustrator. However, as the years went on, Tajiri began to realize that a lot of the current arcade games maybe weren't the best. So Tajiri and Sugimori decided that the best course of action would be to take matters into their own hands and make video games themselves. And with that, on April 26, 1989, Game Freak evolved from a fan-made magazine to an official video game development company. A company that developed a decent handful of games between 1989 and 1994, including the likes of Yoshi for the NES, Mario and Wario for the Super Famicom, and Pulseman for the Sega Mega Drive. However, it would not be until November 27, 1996, that Game Freak would see real success with the release of two games, Pokemon Red and Pokemon Green, both for the Nintendo Game Boy. Inspired by Tajiri's childhood love of bug collecting, the Game Boy's link cable technology, and Square's The Final Fantasy Legend, Pokemon was a turn-based RPG in which players assumed the role of blank slate silent protagonist number 721 as they set out on a journey to collect and train creatures known as pocket monsters. In begins, players are allowed to choose between one of three starter Pokemon, a fire type, a water type, and a grass type. After choosing their new battle pet, the player can now explore various towns and environments, battling, capturing, leveling up, and evolving a wide variety of Pokemon, with the ultimate goal being to defeat 8 Pokemon gym leaders, stop an evil corporation, and battle your way to becoming the very best. That was the plot of the game, but the real goal, the true end goal of the game, was to try and catch all 151 Pokemon, and that's where the two different versions came in. You see, both Pokemon Red and Green had version-exclusive Pokemon, so in order to complete the game 100%, players would have to link up their Game Boys via link cable, whereupon they could battle each other and trade various Pokemon amongst themselves. And it was this collecting and trading mentality, on top of the game's more accessible and simple take on turn-based combat, that made Pokemon Red and Green massive hits, going on to see several special edition re-releases. The first of which was a limited-run blue version only available through mail order for subscribers of the Japanese manga magazine Koro Koro Comic. Although it did eventually see a full retail release a couple years later, around the same time that Pokemon saw its second special edition re-release, Pokemon Yellow. This game changed up various story elements of the additive color model trilogy in order to tie in more to the Pokemon anime, which, yes, of course there was an anime, and I'm pretty sure it's still around. It's kinda like the Simpsons of anime, it just never quite seems to die. A lot of Game Freak's previous titles were never released outside of Japan. The sheer success of Pokemon in its home country quickly warranted a nearly worldwide release, with the North American versions of Red, Blue, and for some reason not Green being released on September 28, 1998, and Pokemon Yellow following suit on October 1st, 1999. So after only 3 years, Pokemon had gone from a developer's handheld experiment to an unprecedented worldwide phenomenon, with a successful anime series, manga, trading cards, and a total of 4 games. But when you get down to it, Pokemon Red, Green, Blue, and Yellow were all just different versions of the same base game. It would not be until the turn of the century that the Pokemon series would see its first real sequels in Pokemon Gold and Pokemon Silver. Released in Japan on November 21st, 1999, and in North America on October 15th, 2000, Gold and Silver expanded upon the formula established by their predecessors by introducing 100 new Pokemon, a real-time day and night system, a mechanic known as Pokemon breeding, and new rare shiny Pokemon, implemented to show off Gold and Silver's compatibility with the Game Boy Color. And just like the games before them, Gold and Silver were an incredible success, selling several million copies in only a few months, and receiving an updated version exclusive to the Game Boy Color known as Pokemon Crystal. So by this point, with 7 hit games in Japan and 6 in North America and Europe, the Pokemon series had both established and solidified itself as Nintendo's newest blockbuster franchise. A franchise that Nintendo and Game Freak were determined to keep going strong, releasing a consistent stream of sequels every few years, starting with 2003's Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire for the Game Boy Advance, followed by Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, Black and White, and Black and White 2, all released for the Nintendo DS in 2007, 2011, and 2012 respectively, all of which brought new batches of original Pokemon, except for Black and White 2, as well as their own tweaks and new additions to the series formula while keeping true to the core gameplay that made the franchise a success in the first place. Ruby and Sapphire introduced self-explanatory double battles, Diamond and Pearl was the first in the series to allow for online multiplayer, Black and White took things a few steps further than Ruby and Sapphire by introducing triple battles and rotation battles, and finally Black and White 2 was basically more of the original Black and White, albeit with some fun new side games. All 8 of these games received very positive review scores and were some of the highest selling games on their respective platforms. And in addition to these 4 pairs of sequels, the 2000s also saw a nearly equal number of Pokemon remakes. You see, in 2004, following the release of Ruby and Sapphire, Game Freak used the engine behind those games to create new, enhanced versions of the original Pokemon Red and Green. These remakes were known as Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, and while not selling quite as well as the original titles that preceded it, is that all of these games only scratch the surface of what has become the Pokemon Empire. This one franchise boasts 25 main series games, mountains of spin-off games, games, a 19-season anime, 18 films, a long-running trading card game, and a seemingly endless amount of toys and other merchandise. Pokemon, more so than virtually any other video game franchise in existence, has managed to completely transcend the realms of being just a video game series, becoming a worldwide phenomenon pretty much overnight. And perhaps the most impressive thing is that today, 20 years since the start of the franchise, Pokemon is still just as big as ever. After 2 whole decades, the unbridled popularity of this RPG series has stood strong, arguably without a single misstep. But really, what else can you expect from a series that has inspired such wide-eyed wonder and nostalgia in both the young and old for generations? Pokemon knew exactly what it wanted to be back when it started in 1996, and since then it has only gotten bigger, better, and more adventurous while remaining true to that foundation laid 20 years prior. And with so many more new and exciting experiences already on the way, it is clear that the Pokemon series will continue to entertain and inspire for generations to come. Thanks for watching, guys.